We're in the lab today, boys. So I'm currently working on a really fun videos that you guys are going to enjoy, but I kind of want to make sure that they're actually good and I spend some more time on them. So I wanted to pump out something this week that's kind of been on my mind recently. Now, for those who are going to say I clickbaited by saying that all the Overwatch heroes suck, look at this little disclaimer I put at the bottom of the thumbnail under the "they all suck" text. So I put the disclaimer here. You can't be mad at me. That's literally how it works. Now, when it comes to Overwatch, a lot of people complain about like all the heroes, except for the ones that they play because they're their favorites and say, oh, we shouldn't change anything about this hero, except for buffing them. Buff their cooldowns, buff their damage, buff their health, buff everything. Everything else, don't change it. I want to really take an unbiased look today because I do think there is a decent amount of Overwatch heroes that just straight up need a rework completely. Blizzard has tried buffing and nerfing certain things about these heroes in terms of their health, their damage, their cooldown, their ultimate charge rate, like even just the littlest things. And it doesn't really seem like it's done that much. Now, when I say rework, I'm talking about something like Torbjorn or Symmetra got back in the day where they got whole new abilities. I'm sure this video won't upset anybody because I bet I'm probably going to say something that offends one of someone's favorite heroes and they're going to get really mad at me, but I don't know. I played Overwatch for like a billion hours at this point. Yes, I'm a hard stuck Diamond 2 Masters 5 player, but I think that actually makes me the most qualified to speak on this because I'm in the upper echelon of players, you know, one of the best, but I'm also not a pro, so there's still a little bit of casual in me, so I think it makes sense. First, going over the dishonorable mentions. These are heroes that I'm not like 100% ironclad need a full rework yet. Starting with Venture, literally the only thing I don't really like about Venture is how long they can be underground. You can like charge your little jump thing that you do when you come out of the ground to do more damage, but it also extends the time you are out underground. This allows Venture to have some of the best survivability in the whole game, and it kind of forces you to go Cassidy or like a Roadhog or Sombra, just someone who can pure full stun them. It creates a very unfun gameplay loop to play Venture and to play against them. I think the cooldown and the length on this just needs to be changed in order to create a more fun experience. For Matra, this is purely just the ultimate and damage reduction. I was thinking about maybe reworking Nemesis form and especially maybe just taking away Nemesis form during his ultimate. That feels like it kind of takes away from the core identity of the character. I think he should just have less damage reduction. That one's pretty simple. Or at the very least, in his ultimate, perhaps his damage reduction increases the longer the ultimate goes on. So it's really easy to burst him when he first uses his ultimate, but if he continues to do damage with it, then that's kind of your fault that he can't die. Everyone has been bitching about Zarya ever since Overwatch went to 5v5 and honestly a little bit before that. You know that perk that Zarya can get that allows her to, you know, give her teammates health regeneration and movement speed when she bubbles them? That should just be a passive on Zarya, and I think Zarya should only be able to bubble herself about once every 15-20 seconds. But should she be able to bubble a teammate much more frequently than that? It would do a lot better with making Zarya play more in like a dive comp, really coordinating her to have more team play, where she's not necessarily that mobile, but she can allow her teammates that are very mobile to get a lot done without her just being the character that you pick when you need to counter a diva by just, you know, getting 100 charge instantly and melting her to death. That would be a big way to fix that because it's not fun. I love Junker Queen personally, but I do understand a really good Junker Queen player against an uncoordinated team. It's just GG. You are just a tall, hot DPS with abs. Problem is, Junker Queen, if she's not really hitting her like jagged blade, her like knife tomahawks on people, she kind of sucks. It's easily the strongest part about her kit. If you disagree, you're wrong. They should maybe decrease the hitbox of some of her abilities, and that even goes for her just primary fire, but increase the damage they do. It would just make it to where a Junker Queen player is destroying your team. It means that they are really, really good at the game and are very precise. I also love Wrecking Ball and or Hammond and or Hampter, but everyone fucking hates him because he's a tank and he's the most mobile hero in the entire game, and I do love him because he's one of the hardest heroes to play in the game, and me as like a super, you know, just ultra pro Giga Chad, I just love the heroes that, you know, challenge me. But I think they've actually mostly done a good job with like kind of incentivizing ball players to actually go into the enemy team, pop their adaptive shield, and, you know, like a little worker bee ant, take that adaptive shield back to their hive, back to their queen bees, back to their team, and, you know, give them some overhealth. I think they should incentivize Hammond players to do this way more, and I simply think that Hammond should be faster when he's near his team and slower when he's not near his team. This makes it a little harder for Hammond just to be the ultimate backline tank, just absolutely like fist fucking your Mercy and your Baptiste to death. It makes it to more when he's really deep in the enemy team, he actually does get a little bit slower. I don't know, give him a passive that's called social anxiety or some shit, who gives a shit. But when he's near his friends, he feels like in a more comfortable circle where he can really be himself. And it increases his speed, which allows him to go back to his team. It allows him to fall back a little bit quicker to maybe give his team some shields and also get healed. It would just make Hammond feel a little more like a tank, I think, incentivizing team play. But yeah, those are the dishonorable mentions. I know a lot of people are going to disagree. Let's get into the real shit. I'm also doing this by heroes that I think need the least amount of reworks and like the least big changes to the heroes that need the most big changes. First off, we have Hazard. Now, I know it's gonna surprise people. Besides Freya, Hazard is the newest hero in Overwatch, and I think for the most part, I really like him and he's really good. However, Hazard got a buff in the new patch, and honestly, I think it gives him just like a little too much survivability and a little bit too much mobility. The big problem with Hazard is that he kind of sucks unless he has a coordinated team. Like, this guy straight up needs healing on him like a fair amount of the time to be good. But once you have DPS that can peel for you and healers that can heal you like from long range, he is so insanely busted. So yes, Hazard's mostly busted at the higher ranks because most DPS players and most healers are bad at doing that. But I think we're gonna see a point where Hazard feels like he's literally invincible because he has insane mobility that he can turn into insane damage. He has an ability that can actually block more damage than you think, and then he has this little spike steal ability, which with that one perk that gives him lifesteal kind of makes Hazard feel like he's fucking it. This is the only rework I think Hazard needs. And this would just be simply introducing a new passive. So he has this little energy meter that dictates how long he can do his spike guard. I think this should literally be for all of his abilities. And I think how it should work is the more damage that Hazard does or blocks, the meter goes up. He starts with very little that only allows him to use one of his abilities for like a second at a time, but he slowly increases it. This really incentivizes you to not let Hazard get in your face. And I'm talking all of his abilities. I don't think spike wall should last for more than a second when he has like the minimum amount of charge. I don't think he should be able to fly through the air for amount of second. I don't even think he should be able to get his little slash off for like even a second longer if he doesn't have a lot of charge. Obviously, I think his ultimate shouldn't be affected by this. I think Hazard is going to slowly, with these new patches and the way the meta is shifting, become a hero that is an elo terrorist, and it just is going to be an auto ban in every game. Don't worry, we'll talk about hero bans later. But also, it makes us to where like at the start of a fight, Hazard just isn't this insta-kill machine where you can just dive in the backline, hit a huge headshot on a support, and then slash them, and then immediately just like be alive in the enemy team's backline for an hour. Like, I think his new meter passive affecting all of his abilities and charging off damage and blocking damage would be the way to fix that. Look, guys, ever since Doomfist got brought to 5v5, I kind of hate him. But then I thought about it when we got Overwatch Classic recently, and then I realized I think Doomfist is just not a very well-designed hero. In fact, I'd argue he's in like the bottom 5 all-time designed heroes. And the Street Fighter collab reminded me recently when Doomfist didn't get a skin for the Street Fighter collab. He was literally designed to be like a fighting character. And when they took away Sky Uppercut from him, it kind of removed the fact that he was supposed to do like fighting combos. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring Sky Uppercut back, and it's gonna replace Doomfist Quick Melee, but it's gonna be on a cooldown. Doomfist can only do his Quick Melee, his Sky Uppercut every 5-6 seconds or so. Quick Melee is a huge part about doing damage on Doomfist and just securing kills, so this would allow him to secure kills better, but also now he can't just like spam Quick Melee when he's in someone's face and doesn't have any hand cannon ammo. And also it would allow him to do some more cool combos and have a little bit more mobility. But in order to balance this out, because I do think this would be an objective buff to Doomfist, we're gonna change Meteor Strike, because I fucking hate this ultimate. I've never liked it, always thought it was dumb. It is just dumb. I don't care what you say. A really big problem with this ultimate is that when the Doomfist has it, you know that you're just not going to be able to kill him. If you fucking get him one shot and you don't hack him, he is just going to use Meteor Strike and fly away and then instantly have a charged punch and slow you when he hits you. It's really stupid. Or he just uses it as a pure get out tool and it really feels stupid as an ultimate. I think Doomfist ultimate should be something that has to do with his punch. You know, in like the old Overwatch animated short that said Doomfist had a punch that could level a skyscraper. Because sometimes a Doomfist punch literally feels like hitting a fucking rhino in the face with a wiffle ball bat, and sometimes you just punch people through space-time like you're a legendary Pokemon. I don't know. I think when he pops his ultimate, Doomfist should just get a punch that he can pop like every second. Now, what the punch does, it does damage to them and pushes them back, yes, but it does not stun them. This allows Doomfist to just be like a battery ram that can just send someone into a wall, pushing them. It's not stunning them, so it does allow them to react to it, but it would really allow him to just kind of feel like he's a bull just charging through a herd with this super powerful punch. He's just popping, bam, 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 and you could do some crazy combos with this. The ultimate would only last for like 5 fucking seconds or maybe even less, I don't know. But I ultimately think having a punch where just popping it really fast, pushing the enemy back, it would allow him to get some insane combos and just be a real driving force for his team, where he can either push the enemy team into his team so they can be killed easier, or allow his team to push the objective easier and not just use an ultimate where he's literally not on the screen for seconds at a time participating in the match, which is really dumb. Roadhog is a character that Blizzard has tried a lot to do. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Roadhog has been a problem that Blizzard has been trying to solve for the better part of a decade. Not a better part of a decade, a decade. And they added a perk recently to Roadhog that I think tank makes him insanely more fun to play. Easily makes him feel like a tank, and it's really simple. Now I know people hate AoE healing. I kind of think in a 5v5 less shields world, I don't think AoE healing is that bad. By the way, I really out of nowhere, I wanted to say I released a song called Hammond that, you know, some of you listen to on Spotify. More music coming, by the way. No one's ever really given me like respect and acknowledged the bar I have on that song. She rode on my hog, so she gotta take a breather, because his ability is called Take a Breather, and Roadhog, and Hog is like the big dick. I'm honestly so proud of that line, and I just wanted to say that that line meant a lot to me because it's never been acknowledged. Anyways, this is an easy one, but I do think it is a change that needs to happen more than the previous two. Just make this a passive of Roadhog. Make it to where Roadhog is incentivized to not go in the backline using Take a Breather on himself. And honestly, I like Whole Hog, but I do think it should be a bit different. Why doesn't Roadhog quickly build like a big scrap shield? And I would kind of just make it like a walking hazard wall he can use, where it's kind of like a mini Reinhardt shield. It's not as big, and it's like attached to him while he's using it, like he holds it up. But also, if he walks into anybody with it, it pushes them back and does a lot of damage to them, like hazard wall. It would fit perfectly with his character, and it'll actually allow him, while he pops his ultimate, to be like a damage blocking tank for a little bit. He could hook people like into the shield. I think the only thing he wouldn't be allowed to use during his ultimate is his primary fire, and then he can still heal his teammates and everything. Like it would allow Roadhog to feel a bit more like a tank, and as long as the numbers are on that ultimate aren't super busted, I think it'd be fine. Sojourn, this one's really easy. In fact, I don't even know that I could necessarily call this one a rework, but I guess it is a new passive again. And I think without changing the core identity of Sojourn, where she's this very fluid character that, as much as I hate her, she does take a fair amount of skill to play, without changing stupid OP mobility combined with her insane one-shot across the map potential that has been making her the lobby admin for about 3 years now. There should just be a punishment for using railgun. They have changed the numbers on Sojourn's damage, and specifically with the railgun and the timing of it and the charge of it like 100,000 times. Just make a fucking penalty for using railgun. Make it to where Sojourn does a small amount of damage to herself every time she uses it, and it should be like 70 damage, or maybe she sets herself on fire so she actually needs like a healer to heal her while she's doing this. Immediately we might say is, okay, well, how does this solve Sojourn being pocketed by Mercy? Just make it to where this damage she does to herself with railgun cannot be healed for longer than a second. Like a portion of her health bar gets anti-healed by this damage. You can just say that the railgun overheats, and then that's what causes it to fire that insanely powerful shot, and it like recoils and fucking breaks Sojourn's arms. I don't fucking know. Or sets her on fire from the heat of it. You can say something like that. This would make it to where Sojourn cannot just, you know, flank, hide in the back line, pop her ultimate, kill the entire team, fucking, you know, John F. Kennedy, bang, bang, bang. It makes it to where her positioning matters a lot more, and while she's using her railgun, every time she's using it, she's actively hurting herself, and I think this damage should stack, making it to where she has to really kind of maybe take a little bit of time between popping railgun and not just popping it every quarter of a second. This would really solve a lot of problems. I know a lot of people will say this would completely butcher the character, but honestly it wouldn't. The things that she can still do would be insane. The picks you could still get with railgun while at full health and while you actually have your team with you would still make her so insanely powerful. This is an objective nerf. I'm well aware of that. It would make them feel like they're kind of almost on the same playing field as everyone else, because what is Sojourn not good at? Anyways, now I don't hate Mauga, but I do think he's one of the characters in Overwatch that just like base kit, base design is fundamentally flawed. I'm not going to go into the reasons why Mauga is flawed. You could probably look at what he does and decide for yourself. I'm not going to give you a big, you know, analysis or rhetoric. I think we can all just kind of agree. He shows a lot of problems with the Overwatch 2 system, where there are characters who don't block damage directly, or they don't have a shield, so they just do infinite healing themselves and you feel like you can't kill them. They have since butchered the fuck out of Mauga, which I honestly think was for the best. The game has felt a lot better since he's been kind of shit. However, he still doesn't really feel like a tank. So let's change that. Cardiac Overdrive is no longer one of his abilities. It is now his ultimate, and it works very differently. Instead of just being this thing he pops to do a fuck ton of healing to himself and just feel immortal when he's near his team, or at least that's how it used to feel. Now, Mauga actually heals his teammates by doing damage that are in like a big radius near him when he pops this. You can obviously increase the numbers of this since it's an ultimate, and it should probably do more healing. And it makes it to where teammates who do damage in Mauga's radius heal him. This requires the whole team to be doing a lot of damage all at once for this ultimate to feel powerful. And I still think this ultimate should take a long time to charge, but it should feel powerful. It would really make team synergy and everybody on your team actually like being able to do damage, be in a good position to do damage when you pop it, feel so important. And I think it would just make the ability not stupid. But wait, if Cardiac Overdrive is his new ultimate, What about Cage Fight? Cage Fight is now one of his abilities, and it only lasts for like literally 2 seconds, and it is on a long cooldown. But this allows Mauga to kind of do what Winston Bubble does, where you can place the barrier around people, cutting them off from their team. And I don't think it should act as a stun, but I do think it should still lock people into the cage during that duration. This would allow Mauga to use Overrun, which, yes, I'm not going to take away from him. It's way too important to the key identity of his character. This new Cage Fight ability will only last for a couple seconds, and the barrier should probably have less health. So maybe if a team reacts insanely quickly, they could break it really fast. But ultimately, it would punish people with poor positioning because it wouldn't really last that long, and Mauga can't use it that often anyways. These next 3 are the big ones. Honestly, I had a really hard time thinking of reworks for Mercy. I know that a lot of Mercy fans don't think she needs to be reworked, but she desperately does. She's really the one healer in Overwatch who feels like her performance is like honestly like 75% dependent on her team doing well. There's not a lot of carry potential on Mercy. There's potential to be carried, and sometimes as Mercy, when you have a DPS who's just frying the enemy team the whole match and their tank isn't really doing much about it, you can just go Mercy and damage boost pocket them. And it's just the easiest W in the world, and there's kind of like no reason not to do it, at least at the lower ranks. Heal botting on Mercy is bad. It's better to do it on any character. I don't even think I really mind Resurrect, but it just, it can feel so annoying when you have an uncoordinated team and you're playing against a Mercy who's just getting every res because for some reason they don't have a headset on and don't hear the really loud sound it makes when Mercy goes for the res. I digress. Which, by the way, if there are any Overwatch content creators who are watching this who would love to collab for some future videos I have on the channel, I am always down. Even if you're a smaller content creator than me, don't feel afraid to reach out. I would just love to work with some more people. Honestly, my biggest problem with Mercy is her ultimate, actually. It doesn't ever really feel like it's that powerful, and it mostly just feels annoying to play against with how fast she can move and how impossible she can be to catch as certain characters. So I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring on this one idea. Give Mercy her old res back. Yes, I'm serious. Make it to where she can only res a maximum of 3 people in 6v6 and 2 people in 5v5. This would simply make it to where Mercy can't res the entire team and she's just like hiding and waiting for her team to die so she can just do like a bunch of ultimates with her one. And it would also make it to where it kind of encourages Mercy to maybe use her ultimate to res people before a team fight's actually over. And yeah, you can make the res cast time like way faster for the ultimate and everything, but I think this would kind of just stop the whole problem of Mercy just kind of being the character that's meant to pocket other people and just to only res one person. I think it would help a lot. And then, you know, you can keep her movement the same, but just make it to where she can't have Valkyrie that just makes her literally Moth bitch from hell. Now, here's the thing. Mercy is a pistol. I know people often forget that, but a lot of the time, pulling out the pistol on Mercy is a throw because, you know, you should be having your staff out at all times in case someone comes in range of you and needs to be damage boosted or healed. So the pistol's kind of just a throw thing. I think that they should combine her staff and her pistol kind of into one thing to make it to where she can just turn the healing off and just start shooting little balls out of her staff that fire like the exact same way her pistol does, and just make it to while she's shooting, not doing damage boost or healing. I just think Mercy's damage boost should only be triggered if she's near 2 teammates at once. This would prevent Mercy players going with their DPS into the back line and just damage boosting them and hiding behind a wall the whole time, or just playing high ground and damage boosting them and hiding up behind a wall the whole time. And this would actually encourage Mercy to play in kind of like a death ball format more, and I just think these things would ultimately solve the problem of Mercy just being the pocket healer. Lifeweaver is the one Overwatch hero that I almost like for this video objectively, like I was thinking in my head, I was just like, maybe just delete him, just get rid of him completely. But then I thought, no, I actually do think Lifeweaver can be fun to play because his name is Lifeweaver. You can really bot back and forth, you know, doing the healing, charging it up just a little bit and then charging it a lot, and then, ooh, someone's in your face. Start shooting them with your thing and then swap back to your healing, and then you do your little dash midair and heal someone midair, and it feels like a very fun playstyle. We're just going back and forth, really like every split second you're making a decision that could affect the match in a dramatic way with how much damage or healing you're doing or your positioning. I actually think that's fun, and I think the you know, the sound effects they made for the character and the character himself is very colorful and unique, and I think they did a good job. It's just everything else about the character that I hate. You guys are gonna start to notice a common theme here, but my least favorite part about Lifeweaver is his fucking ultimate. I hate this ult. This is the worst ultimate in the game. In terms of like what it actually does, not even being that good, it mainly just being annoying, it being designed like shit. This is, I think, the only thing Blizzard has ever put into the game that I honestly hate it. It's even like annoying to activate this ultimate. You can fuck your team over, or you can just use a body block them in a room. I don't even think that's what Blizzard wanted you to do with it. It was clearly just designed to be a stationary healing turret. Lifeweaver's grip ability that literally like is the opposite of team play. Yeah, you know, I think it was designed so you can have a tank go really balls deep in the enemy team, and this ability would allow them to do something really stupid and then get pulled back into a good position position and also not die instantly. It's not a fun ability to play against when it's actually used correctly, but most of the time you accidentally just fuck your teammates over because you have a split second to see if they're about to kill someone or if they're about to get an ult off, and sometimes you grab them while they pop an ultimate or where they have someone one shot, and it's not really either player's fault, it's just how the character is played because of things like ping. Lifeweaver grip is always going to feel inconsistent in terms of value. Also, the flower is just annoying as fuck. I'm sorry, having to chase this guy and then he just goes up on his flower, and then you either need to be a character who can jump up really quickly to just delete him, in which case the flower just feels like it was annoying and just wasted a second of your time and is just a dog shit ability, or depending on what character you're playing against, and if you uncoordinated a team, it kind of just was like Lifeweaver just gets a jail to free card, and ooh, it's also just annoying when you're in like a room and then like it just like sends you up like 2 inches for no reason. Why does it even do that? I think all 3 of these abilities need to be deleted from the game and replaced with entirely new ones. I'm not even joking, I think all of them need to go. Keep the base healing, keep the way Lifeweaver does damage, keep rejuvenating dash, keep all of it, get rid of the ult, get rid of the pedal, get rid of the grip, no more grippies. No more grippies for you. And then if you really want an ability that allows like Lifeweaver to save people from imperilous danger from far away, well, don't. It's stupid. We already have Suzu and Immortality Field, and those things have already caused enough problem for the game, and people have debated that those need to be reworked, so I just think you shouldn't give him any ability like that. Just literally make him the heal bot character whose goal is to have the most fucking healing in the lobby, and he doesn't do much else. He has a lot of ways to do long range damage and everything, but his main goal is just to heal. But if you want to keep up with the whole like flower and tree motif with his ultimate, don't add something that obstructs gameplay. Don't add something that's a lot of visual clutter. Maybe add like a big like rainstorm that happens like above the map, like a bunch of flowers falling down. They have that whole little stupid like flower thing he can drop. Make it to where those fall from the sky and they're little things that the teammates can pick up to instantly get a lot of health. This would allow for some strategic positioning where Lifeweaver can pop it in the enemy team's backline, so your team can jump into them, picking up these little mini health packs and everything, or you can pop it back into your team so your team can back up and grab the health packs and then go back in. Like, it's just these little like flower pickups that just act like immediate health packs and things like that that just gonna fall from the sky. Literally anything but the flower and the grip. No more Rose Toy. And now here we are. I know with Lifeweaver and Mercy, I didn't go as in depth, but I'm not gonna do that this next one. This one gets the full treatment. Sombra is probably the most controversial hero in Overwatch that's not Mercy. I love Sombra. She's actually one of my most played characters, or I could at least say she was before Overwatch 2 and the rework. The Sombra rework has mostly been fine, but it's clear that people still hate playing against Sombra. Ever since hero bans have been added, she's been the most consistently banned hero. It's not even close. Even after the nerf, she just got nerfed, by the way, because I think they thought that if they nerf Sombra, she'd stop getting banned. She's still getting banned in 99% of my games, even at high ranks. Like, she still gets banned every fucking game. And she's not even that good. It's honestly like a waste of a ban at this point, unless you're playing in bronze. The problem with Sombra is just hack. Just the concept of an ability that locks you out from playing the game. Everyone hates it. Mostly casual players hate it because it requires you to have better positioning and constantly be watching out for Sombra, making her a real threat. I kind of like the idea of having a hero that can counter every hero like Sombra. Like that's like her thing. And I like playing the stealthy characters in most games, so when Sombra came out, that was like a huge appeal of her to me. It's really hard to say how you would change the stealth and hack aspect of her kit without completely reworking her and just making her a new hero. So, I think Sombra should be a support. I'm serious. We've already seen with her new perk that allows her to hack people while being invisible and also allows her to hack her team, heal 100 health over a duration of time. And the fact that Sombra can still hack health packs, and back in the day, she used to generate ult charge by healing teammates with her health packs, which only got changed because it was insanely overpowered at the highest levels of play with very coordinated teams who would literally just run back and forth getting the Sombra health packs to heal them as fast as they could so Sombra could build her ultimate in like 20 seconds, EMPing the entire enemy team and just fucking them to death. They should just make Sombra a support. Now, she can still hack people and go invisible, but Translocator has entirely been removed completely. There is no more teleport. She can't use it as a nest thing. That is all gone. I think her invisibility should not be something Sombra can trigger when she dips under like 50% health. Now you might be like, well, if someone's doing damage to Sombra and they're like about to kill her, how is this good? They're just going to be able to chase her down, especially if they're playing like a Winston or a Mei. She should get significantly increased movement speed, which allows her to, if she reacts quickly enough when she turns invisible and has that small amount of invulnerability ability, she should be able to get away. I still think Sombra's hack should be able to disable enemies' abilities. Have the lockout be for a few seconds and have it just be something that can only trigger maybe once every life for Sombra. Maybe it just has 2 charges every life and it can only be restored once she ults or something. But the main purpose of hack to hack her teammates and give them that regenerative healing over time. And Sombra is still going to be able to hack health packs, and I think a special perk of this now is that the health packs should be able to like kind of gravitate towards the team and kind of fly towards them in like a small radius, not like from across the map or anything. But Sombra can still have her little SMG, but you know, maybe just tweak the numbers on it just a little bit. Now I do think the ice cube should still exist, but now that Sombra can hack enemies way less frequently, I don't think the ice cube ability is going to be that much of an issue. Just how the ice cube does more damage to enemies that are hacked if Sombra throws the ice cube on a teammate that she hacked, or B, give them like a 50% cooldown reduction on all of their abilities. I kind of like the second option more, but it might be a bit too OP. It would allow Sombra to really coordinate with certain characters who have longer cooldown timers on their abilities, like Baptiste, and you know, if they ever put the Mauga rework that I suggested in the game. And then for the ultimate, it's still EMP. It still does the same thing, but now it also applies that to all of Sombra's teammates. So it does that, you know, whatever health number, like 100 health over the course of like a second and a half to healing. I think during this time, the EMP, her ice cube should be able to hit all enemies with 1 ice cube in a large radius. Just make it like a giant super ice cube, I don't know, for like the 5 or 6 seconds EMP lasts. Making it to where if the enemy team's grouped up and Sombra's team's grouped up, and maybe she just procced her invisibility or something, she's able to get in a good position where she can hit a massive ice cube doing damage to the hacked enemy she hit with EMP. With the 2 charges, the red hack, I think the blue hack is the good heal, the healing, the nice one. The red hack is the take away the enemy's abilities ones. I think I've settled on the idea that Sombra should just have like 2 of those like per life, maybe even just 1. I guess her popping her ultimate would refresh it. You'd obviously have to have like the cooldown duration of the blue healing hack be a lot, like be really fast so she can actually like be an effective healer. This would allow Sombra to be a character that is very strong against not dive comps, unless she herself is playing with a dive comp. And it would remove her from being the Metal Gear Solid TF2 spy bullshit hero that she is now, that admittedly I still enjoy. And I think this is the best way to keep Sombra feeling at least somewhat similar to the way she is right now, while removing her from being the spawn camping piece of shit Sombra. And I know a lot of diehard Sombra mains would fucking hate this change, but honestly, you're getting banned in 90% of matches anyways. I think this might be better. If you have any opinions on what I said wrong in this video, please let me know. If you disagree with me, if there's any heroes you think that I should have talked about that needed to be reworked, or you massively disagree with the reworks I propose in this video, please let me know. If you want to keep up with my journey to top 500, and of course all these other big, actual, like really good videos I'm working on that I've enjoyed, please join my community Discord or follow me on Twitter for my hot takes or anything like that. If you want to check out the aforementioned Hammond song that I think is obviously a banger, Spotify in the description below. I'm gonna have another big video coming out next week on Reinhardt, and I'm so excited for it. It's one of my best videos, and I know everyone's really gonna love it. Then genuinely though, if you really want to stay updated on my videos, please go ahead and comment, because YouTube changed their algorithm recently. If you don't comment or subscribe on videos or watch like 10 videos from the same creator, it doesn't give you their videos in recommended. I'm hopefully not gonna get butchered too bad in this video. I've been Big Citrus, and have a damn good one.